What's up, guys? It's Chaz, Charlie, and today I want to discuss self-control is a big key to weed addiction. And some people ask me, what's one of the main things when it comes to overcoming addiction? And there are multiple, and they can differ depending on the person. But I think one thing that should be a common thread in everybody's journey is self-control. And when we think of self-control, most of us probably think we are a self-controlled individual. We think because we're not rambunctious and out of control and partying and these wild party animals that, I'm pretty good at self-control, but most of us don't realize we have an issue with self-control. And I think with men specifically, we tend to act on our urges a lot faster than what we realize. A lot of times the big part of relapsing or falling back into addiction is not able to control ourselves. And I think just with life in general, a big key to life, to being a decent individual in life, is to learn how to control ourselves, learn how to not act on our every impulse and desire. Because the world makes you think, okay, freedom is you have the option to do everything and all things that tickle your interest, that seems fun to you. It's the freedom to try everything. But we don't realize that trying everything is really you creating different chains and holes that actually hold you back. If I try a lot of sexual partners, if I try weed and try liquor and try drugs and try this and try that, we think we're this free spirit individual, but in actuality we're just creating a lot of chains, creating a lot of possible chains in our life. Not saying everything you will try you will become addicted to, but the more things you try and the more that you act on your every impulse and desire, you run the chance of becoming addicted or becoming a uncontrolled individual. A lot of times the key to being a successful individual is learning how to not act on every impulse. We are a very impulsive people. We are we are an emotionally driven person. A lot of times when we grow up, our parents do not equip us to understand how to control our feelings, handle our emotions. So therefore, a lot of us are these big adult children, and we think, okay, I'm not a big adult child. I don't ride a bike around the house like that. I'm not out of control. I think thinking like a child is more common than what we think. When I look at my small children, come on, y'all. I hate when other dog owners don't pick up their dog shit. Anyway, a lot of times with, that totally threw me off. Hold on. Okay, our parents allow us to grow up. We have a job. We may have went to school. We could be married and have children, but we still have a childlike mentality. We are not able to express ourselves, not able to process our emotions, not able to control our emotions, not able to control our impulses. And with weed addiction specifically, you're going to have urges. I kind of hate the notion that, and a lot of times this happens with I think religion or Christianity or just religion in general. People will say, well, Jesus took the urge away from me. And I'm not going to say that's not totally possible, but I think that's not as common. I think once you have opened Pandora's box, it's kind of always open. I do like, I think The Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe is a wonderful movie. Great story. Great cinematography. Anyway, I like the end because basically he's this genius of a mind, so much of a genius, he's kind of crazy. Or he is crazy, and he basically goes through a meltdown by the end of the movie. And during the course of the film, he has these make-believe friends, or these imaginary spirits that are talking to him. And one of them is a little girl, one of them is another guy. And at the end, the guy asked him, it was like, do you still see the people? And he looks over and they're like looking at him. And he said, yeah. But I'm paraphrasing. I forgot the exact line. But basically, they're still there. I just can deal with them better. And a lot of times we will still, in life, once we get over something, the urges or the thoughts of it may still be there, but you have developed enough self-control to not act on it. Because the thing about urges, people, they relapse, they don't give time enough for the urge to pass on. If you don't immediately act on it and just either consume your time with something else, or just stop and be patient and let that thought, let that urge, let that feeling pass, it'll go away. But a lot of times we fail to do that, and we feel the urge and we feel like I must act on it. And I don't think I don't think a lot of times these urges go away. I think they do become less. Like, I don't think once you quit weed, you're going to think about smoking weed every day for the rest of your life. I mean, I think as long as you have other things going on, you don't spend your whole day thinking about weed. But, you may see somebody smoking. You may smell somebody smoking. You may have a trigger that makes you think of when you did smoke. Like, or you may get stressed out. And like, I kind of want to smoke right now. We have to stop, let that urge pass, practice self-control, and not act on our every impulse. I also quit cigarettes. I quit cigarettes about 2, possibly even 3, at least 2 years before I actually quit weed. And I'm going to say I still get more cigarette urges or cigarette cravings than actual weed. And I remember I always tell people when I say I've quit cigarettes and they smoke, I'm saying, well, I quit. I still appreciate cigarettes. I don't hate cigarettes. I always tell my wife, if we make it to the age of, if we get to 65, okay, maybe 70, if we get old and we're not on a deathbed and, the world is not over, it's a possible chance we may start smoking cigarettes the last 10 years of our life. At that point, what the hell? But my point is, I don't hate cigarettes. And I was telling a coworker that, and they were like, oh no, as if like you're don't tempt them and fall back into. I'm like, no, I appreciate cigarettes, but I don't have the fear of relapsing. I have enough self-control to not fall back into that cycle. So I think that's a big key in addiction of any kind. I remember before I was going to quit weed, I've mentioned this in the past, me and my family, we are saving. We want to be a traveling family in an RV at some point in the near distant future. So I was like, I'm going to quit weed once we go on the road, because I won't be around it. I won't be able to buy it. I'll just take myself out of Memphis to where I'm not tempted to buy it. But then I realized I don't want to have to take myself out in order to have that control. I said true control over my addiction is being able to still be here in Memphis, to still be around old people, old surroundings, and have enough self-control to not do it. So I made up in my mind that I'm not gonna let my surroundings dictate how I handle my addiction. Whether I'm in Memphis, whether I'm on the road, whether I'm in Vegas on vacation, wherever I'm at, I'm going to have enough self-control to where I won't smoke if I don't need to smoke. So I did accomplish that, and I think you have a stronger chance of hanging on to your sobriety if you have that outlook. Somebody recently asked me, hold on guys, because I pick up my dog shit. Somebody recently asked me, do I still get urges, or have I, no, the specific question was, have I relapsed? And when somebody asked me that, I have not relapsed, and I have no fear of relapsing. And sometimes I feel kind of proud and boastful by saying that. I feel like maybe I shouldn't be so sure of myself, and I feel bad by saying I haven't relapsed. But the truth is, as I told him, no, I didn't relapse once I made up my mind I wasn't going to smoke weed anymore. Now, throughout my journey, I think my journey of a year and a half, 2 years of trying to quit, for the 90% of that journey, 95% of that journey, I didn't fully commit to quitting. I would stop. I would not smoke for a while, still under the pretense I'm going to smoke in the future. If I can go a week, if I can go a couple weeks, if I can go a month, if I can just, prove to myself that I cannot smoke, and then after I prove it myself, I'll reward myself. And once I reward myself, I fall back into the same cycle. So I did not fully commit to the process, but once I did fully commit to the process, I did not relapse, because I made up in my mind that I'm not going to smoke. I will not be tied by weed. And it was so much easier. A lot of times when we relapse or we have our missteps, is because we have not fully committed to the process. We're not fully committed to practicing self-control. And again, I will say, self-control is the key. Learning how to not act on your every impulse, your every desire, your every urge, your every feeling. Because you're going to get them. And like I said, don't look at it as a scary thing, like, oh, I'm going to get them, what am I going to do? Yeah, I'm going to get them, and I'm going to not act on them. And then in 5 minutes, I'll be over it. It's not a big deal. I'm an adult. I'm a grown man. I'm stronger than that. What, I'm so weak that I smell some weed and like, oh, I got to go buy some weed. No, let's grow up. Let's act like an adult. So, again, guys, self-control should be a big part of anybody's process. Now, if you want to remove yourself from the environment, that's great. If that works for you, might do it. I don't think we can, hang around weed smokers all day. And you do have to, in a sense, not be around people who all the time who smokes. But I mean, they can't control you. Okay, if you're around somebody who just smoke, smell like weed. Okay, big deal. That's for them. I have enough control to where I'm not going to be fazed by that. So, on your journey, guys, have you had issues with relapsing? Have you had issues with specifically self-control? Do you find it hard to not act on your urges? Or do you find it easy to be a self-controlled individual? Maybe you doing your process, you fully committed, and it wasn't an issue to you, and you didn't go through 2 years of being like, well, I'm gonna not smoke for a month and reward myself like I did. But guys, I would like to know what you guys think, what you guys feel. So until next time, please like, subscribe, share, but most importantly, please comment below. I want to know what you guys think. And please remember, we are all in this together. Bye. Do you think it's time for you to quit cannabis? Well, I encourage you to make that transition to a new life, free from the chains of weed addiction. It's up to you to make that change, but sometimes we may need a little guided help. So I created a 30-day guided journal to quit cannabis. This journal helps you go through a 30-day process to create a new life. I am a strong believer of people helping themselves, but without being told what to do like a child. But we do need to be steered in the right direction sometimes. Each day focuses on a thought or idea for that day and prompts you to write down your own thoughts and your own reasons. This will help you understand yourself and your addiction. By the end of the 30 days, you will see a clear path on how to create a new life of marijuana sobriety. If you need the motivation to take control like I did, please visit Amazon to purchase the 30-day guided journal to quit cannabis. Your future self will thank you.